Both of them?
Yep. Look at that.
Okay,
Gotta love it.
I love technology. So I'm gonna call the meeting to order. I will, if everybody's okay with it, I will give the invocation. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to serve the people of Sumner County. We ask that everything that is said tonight is done well-meaning and in a genteel fashion. And we ask you to be in our thoughts and in all of our actions as we move forward with this schedule. We ask this in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen. Before we approve the agenda, I would like to remove item 9E. I didn't get all my ducks in a row with everything that happened last week and up to today. And so I will postpone that until next month, if that's okay with everybody.
I'll make a motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of the minutes. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I have no report from the chair. I'm sure we have a report from the county mayor.
Yes, sir. We had some damage from the storms. Fortunately, we are, main building here, we're gonna be able to fix that ourselves. Talked with the maintenance guys, they have rented a boom and are able to get that. And when I say fix it, it's not permanent, but it will keep it dry. Cause, you know, this roof is one of them that we're discussing for next year. So I don't want to put a lot of money into it, I just want to make sure that it's dry. Archives had some damage over there, same thing, we were able to fix it internally. The jail was a little different story. I think Sheriff talked about it earlier, excuse me, Chief Deputy talked about it earlier. And we were able to get a company out there. They got out there within about 20 minutes and reviewed it. And since it was dry, we determined, and the wind was still blowing, we determined coming the next day would be better. And so they came out there and they've got that. It's dry, but again, it's a temporary fix. So it was the cheapest route we could go at the time to get everything shored up, because again, that's another roof that we're looking at fixing right now. So that's where we are with the buildings. We're still looking, still checking. Fortunately, nothing major. We didn't have any trees fall on anything or anything like that. So we were blessed in that regard. And the rest of the stuff, if you don't mind, I can weigh in as the items.
Okay, if I could ask you specifically with those three buildings, it looked like the archive building lost vinyl siding on the lid of going in, but the roof was okay?
Yeah, the roof was okay. We haven't seen, I don't think we've seen any major leaks. Yeah.
Good.
So there weren't any reported to me.
And this roof here, where did we see the leaks?
It was on the front, Jeff, it's on this front corner, right?
David Lawing's area?
No.
Oh, no,
No,
Ours.
it's over, yeah.
okay. So those are new leaks?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
There's a hole in the ridge cap about 18 inches long.
oh, okay,
Yeah, it actually blew a section of the ridge cap off.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
that is.
we'll have to patch that.
Now, Eric Craddock sent me pictures of the jail. That was monumental.
Yeah.
What are the remedial repairs that you did? I haven't been up there
Well, we
yet.
just, we were able to get the membrane back on there and secure.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they worked on that. I think the bill was like $2,900.
Oh, great.
And so that got it secured. It's gonna be dry until we go through all the motions.
Okay. And you're gonna bid that out?
With that particular roof, yes, after talking with auditors, we gotta go through the structural engineer process. We're trying to expedite that as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Once we get that report, I'll bring that report to General Ops, and we talk about our options
Okay.
once we get that report.
Did we lose a lot of foam insulation on that roof? No?
I don't think so.
It stayed put? Okay,
Yeah.
good,
Yeah,
good. Okay, thanks for that.
absolutely.
Okay. We have no recognition of the public, no old business. So the new business, the Election Commission has requested an audience with us, and so I wanted to give them the opportunity.
Lori Ashley, Administrator of Elections. Back before you regarding our move, we're requesting that you guys approve our move that we started in 2020 to the TRC building. This is, I believe, the third time we've been before you, so we're just, it's March, our machines are somewhere, but they're coming, so we just need some kind of resolution and conclusion.
Okay. Ms. Ashley has requested that we approve a move to TRC. Can we have a motion?
I'll make the motion to discuss.
Motion to discuss, second? Anybody?
Tim.
Oh, Tim, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I'll go ahead and speak to this. General operations in various groupings has spent a lot of time in the last couple of weeks trying to assess the space we have available and the logistics of who needs to be near who. And I really feel at a disadvantage as general operations because although we do assist the mayor in determining who goes where and how to maintain the buildings now and moving forward, there are the legislative committee, there is budget committee, and ultimately the commission. And in talking to many of the commissioners, we're not set as a commission on moving the Elections Commission to the TRC building for several reasons, but probably the primary one is the commission is still trying to determine what we're going to do about early voting in the future. So at this point, I feel like if we were to vote and even approve at this table a move to the TRC building, it would probably go to budget next and probably fail. We can try it, but in assessing their office, a more organized, neater, compact, efficient office I don't know I've seen in the county administrative building. And going through the basement this morning, they've got at least 1,000 square feet to store machines down there under secure conditions, and we've already approved the cameras. And a little further down, we're going to talk about the maintenance department, moving them to the TRC, and that will open up even more space for the machines. So as we consider and discuss this issue, I just know that those are the facts as I understand them. And I don't think there's any bias there. I think it's just facts are facts. So would anybody else like to speak to it? Mr. Wynn.
You mentioned about groups of the Gen Ops Committee doing something?
Yeah. This was it pretty much started as Mr. Hyde and myself, and we've just, as time has been available, we have met and driven out to various buildings. For instance, the Children Are People building that the judge was asking to look at, we ran out there. We've been here and looked at different areas. we've been over to the archive building, we've looked at areas, and we've been to the TRC. And we spent a little bit of time at the EMS building, just to understand what we have available to ourselves. And we really have not come to any conclusions in any way, shape, or form. We just wanted to be knowledgeable of what we had available to us.
Okay, yeah, and I respect that, I'm just, because I'm sitting here as a member of the Gen Ops Committee, and it's like, well, when did these events take place? And any kind of notice, addresses, anything would have been helpful for other communities.
You know, they've been very ad hoc in nature, like, because I have certain days off during the week, so does Mr. Hyde. But I know you don't, I know Tim doesn't, I know Don doesn't. And so if we want to do a Saturday tour, I'm happy to do it. But because of the urgency that Miss Ashley has been talking about, we thought, well, you know what, we'll do what we can and then report back to the committee, and then we'll make a decision as a committee. Wasn't trying to exclude anybody from anything.
No, I'm just putting it out there that it would be helpful if everybody just had the same information at the same
Yeah,
time.
and you, hopefully you do. And if you don't, ask anything, and I will tell you, you know, anything about any building that we've frequented.
Okay, not through yet.
Okay.
So then, with the maintenance committee potentially moving to the TRC, you mentioned there would be additional space open up. Is that their current location where the maintenance?
No, currently they're in the basement.
I understand that, but you were talking about there would be extra room open up for voting machine storage. Are you referring to the maintenance area today?
Yes, the maintenance area today. If we approve item D to move maintenance over to TRC, that will free up another 500-600 square feet.
So are we gonna have to invest something to make that a secure area? Because it's a mechanical room, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and we don't even know that they need it. You know, depending on how they store the machines in there, it's about 550 square feet required. And so what they have is over 1,000 in the other half that they've had heretofore. So if they needed more, we could talk about securing that area once the maintenance guys have vacated.
Okay. Now, and last month we talked about, it was like floor plans or,
We haven't done that yet because we haven't made a decision at this level, which is where we're at, you know, right now, or we will be tonight, regarding maintenance and regarding the election commission. So that would be the next move, is a floor plan, a budget, and something that we can hand as a package to the budget committee for their approval, so they don't have to do a bunch of work.
okay. I'm just trying to go off of recollection, but I thought there was already a floor plan.
There was a floor plan concept created by the engineer up on the second floor. I don't think that's exact. There wasn't a lot of communication with the guys who are gonna inhabit that area. And so we've been discussing with the maintenance guys what they really need, what they really want. They're very efficient in their thinking and their needs. And so they won't take excessive amounts of the building, but they have trailers, they have equipment, they move in and out, and you know, there will be requirements for them. And they need a little bit more equipment too, to carry out their duties.
Gotcha. What's the determined amount of square footage that maintenance is gonna need?
Who?
Maintenance?
Isn't that item D? Sorry.
Yeah, you know what, that's her point as well, Meg. We can discuss that in
We
detail.
can hold it to
Yeah,
that.
I didn't mean to
No, that's.
rabbit trail. Deb?
One last question.
Okay.
Yeah. What is the total square footage of the TRC building?
It's about, John, is it 17 or 18,000?
It's right around 17, 18,000. I can't remember the exact amount.
Yeah, I've not seen a plan, so I don't know exactly. I haven't taken it off.
Maybe a little bit more than
It's a
I know
big
the back
building.
section was like 6,500 square feet.
Yeah.
And the middle section's bigger than that.
It's about 9, I think,
Yeah.
and I don't know what the front is. So it's a big building.
Good thing.
Got it?
So, down the same line of questioning, have we determined how much square feet that the election commission needs? I know what they're asking for, what they would like to have, but as far as storage and ability to train and to have their machines set up the way they want with their walkways, tables, things like that, have we determined that amount of space?
The only thing I know, and Ms. Ashley, correct me if I'm wrong, but we had this drawing that looked like it was about 2,550 square feet.
2683.
2683 is what you need for the machines alone.
Yes, sir.
And do you know what you inhabit over here in your offices currently?
Just the office space upstairs?
Yeah.
Probably about 2,700, 2,800 square feet.
Okay. All right, so,
My question is total working space for storage and for training and for their home.
yeah, well, 2580,
2683.
2683. So that's roughly 5,400 is what I think they're asking for.
But that's-
as a bare minimum.
So that's,
They would like room to grow as well.
but that gives them room to grow because the previous machines are gonna be stored there until they are gone, and then that's gonna be vacant space. I know they have to stay there under lock and key and security and
Oh, yeah,
everything until those machines are gone.
You're right.
So that gives them room to grow once those machines are gone. It may be, usable until that point. Is that correct?
I think so.
Those machines we have now are in one room, and they're
Right.
stacked about 10 or 12 high. We can't stack, they're not supposed to be stacked that high.
Okay.
The maximum's 3 to 4, but since we're gonna be disposing of them, we wanted to put them in that room, we did that, but that's only gonna free up that one room.
Right.
The new ones are 54 pounds and have to be stacked vertically.
Vertically.
Can I ask a
'Cause
question?
They're so heavy.
So how much square feet is that room that the old machines are going to be stacked in?
They're already there.
How many square feet is
TRC.
that? No. So the old machines are at the TRC already?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
When the building flooded on Christmas Eve, Marysville asked us to go ahead and move them because they had to take the carpet out of the basement.
So where they were is empty right now?
Mayor, is that?
Yes.
How many square feet is that room?
Okay, that's the basement.
How many square feet is that?
It's almost 1,000.
But Tim, we could stack those 3 shelves high. So we had 3 rows all the way around, 2 complete rooms. We can't stack these at all because they're
Right.
54 pounds and you can't lift 54 pounds from above your shoulders.
Yeah, I understand the argument for all that. I know they're like Pelican cases and they can be stacked because it's the nature of the case, but you don't have to lift 54 pounds and pick something up that has a handle on one end and wheels on the other. You can tilt them and pick up half that weight and set it there. There's argument to be said for that. I understand. We want to give you as much space as possible.
I was just saying you couldn't put them on a second shelf, was all I was saying.
Yeah, if they can be stacked on top of each other.
They cannot be stacked.
From the pictures I saw on there,
Well, that's what the manufacturer specifications were.
you also stated that they had to be remained in the vertical position,
They're on wheels, yes, sir.
yet to use them, you have to put them in a horizontal position, so that doesn't really hold water.
But just one at a time. To
They're-
open it up and access the machine and the ledger.
Yeah, like I said, they're in Pelican cases, they're very robust. I'd have to see that to believe that statement.
Is
But
there anywhere we
my-
can see one?
I could have the microboat, they have a demo machine, they've shown it does several times. I could bring, have him come by and bring me one of those.
I think that would be really helpful, because I don't understand the whole process of lining them up the way the drawing shows. And if I could understand it better, it would be helpful.
If we get back to my point,
Yeah,
the line
I'm
of
sorry.
questioning is that we have space, we have 1,000 extra square feet that the old machines, when they're gone, will be extra space.
No, those machines are already gone. The basement where they were stored is vacant. They're in a 30 by, or looks like a 20 by, maybe 14 by 20 foot room right now, the old ones are. Does that
Okay.
sound about right?
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at the drawing.
And again, they're stacked beyond the manufacturer recommendation.
Right. And we're
But we
just,
wanted them secure, so we've got cameras in that room and we stacked them in there.
Yeah.
And we'll only keep those till we get the new ones, get those operational, then we're working on how to dispose of those properly.
okay.
So what they're asking for is 5,500 square feet.
Yeah, roughly, yeah.
And what we have here at this building is how much?
It's, right now, at this minute, it's about 1,000.
And with the maintenance
And-
room, added another 500, 600?
Yeah, it's hard to say, Terry can.
What do you think, Jill?
Yeah, okay, you've never met. Yeah, it's gotta be at least 500 more feet. And then, of course, you've got your, you think 2,700 up here in the up, so we're not there, but we're close. And here again, I'm still not sure why this over 5,000 feet is necessary to put them in that configuration, but I think when you get that demo, I'll understand that.
Yes, sir. The concept was to put them all around the walls
Mhm.
and then to put the tables down where we could just take the machines up, just like Tim said, pop them up on the table, open them up, program the machines, put them back in, put them back in their place. And we would do it right there within that secure room.
And we do that one at a time.
Well, we
That's
would,
what I was gonna ask.
well, now downstairs, we can do them 4 at a time, but they're, again, they're much smaller, much more compact. So we would probably do, if we did 4 at a time on these, it would take up twice as much room.
How much manpower or woman power do you have to set them up? What is the most you could do at any given time?
Right now, the most we can do is 4.
4, okay.
If we get this set up, we can do 8.
Okay. All right.
So we, I mean, they may be busting at the seams down there. That's yet to see if that floor plan is preferred or if it's actually what they actually need. And that'll help once we see the machines. But 17,500 square feet is definitely not what they need, not even what they're asking for. Are we going to make a decision on where they end up tonight?
Well, at some point in the commission, we'll make that decision.
But we have to suggest it, to send it up.
Yeah, the best we can do is either send it forward or have them stay where they're at. And I don't know that we're in a position to send it forward because there are things that are still being discussed and determined by the commission. I don't know, frankly, I don't know how to resolve this.
It sounds like to me that we're prioritizing what we do with the maintenance, but that's like a given. We know that building's going to them. And if there's any space, what else can we do with the building? So the priority's on the maintenance. So this is definitely on the pause and should not even be discussed until we iron that out. I
Yeah,
feel
like I say.
we don't know what extra we have until that maintenance is
In
taken.
respect to the election commission, I wanted to grant their request to address us. And, you know, we are in a bit of a dilemma.
Can they stay where they're at?
Hang on a second, Wes. Deborah, go ahead.
Just, okay, so this drawing,
Mhm.
the way that I understand it is drawn with the best case scenario. We have unlimited space that we can work with and live in our best life. That's what it would be. Am I understanding that?
That's optimum for the election.
Well, when we originally were moving to the TRC, the back room that maintenance is now taking was gonna be the secure machine room. So now that we're not gonna have that area, that's gonna require a secure machine room to be built within the warehouse section. So when we started, that was not gonna be necessary.
So that could be altered and made to fit whatever we kind of come up with, or
Yeah, and this is
Okay,
a
that's just-
room within a room that will require, you know, as she said, security. And that would have been required in the back too, because that back area is 6,000 square feet and they need less than half of that.
So I was just thinking that if that is the best case, that is just best case with unlimited space. And so there's room to make that real life.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'd like to make a motion just to table this until after we talk about the maintenance, and let's come back to this once we have our maintenance
A
discussion.
second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Let's move forward to item B then. Mayor, this is in your court. Last month, you had talked about hoping to get all of the machines from Comfort, and I was requesting the maintenance files on each of those units, so the floor is yours.
And, maintenance files right here.
Great.
These are all prior to my administration. All of the new ones
Mhm.
are on that drive, the work order drive that y'all have access to. So we're adding it every month. But these are the old ones. We had a question about the, what was it? Two types of condensers.
Well, there's split systems.
No, compressors, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Compressors. He did not have that breakdown,
Okay.
so that's not available. And then he is sending me the jail and general sessions.
Okay.
Those are left. Jail and courthouse are left.
So do we have a complete list? Because I've driven out and looked at most of, or all the ones that were on your last list, I've seen personally.
Right, and then I'll add, as soon as he sends me the work reports on those, I'll add it to that list and I'll send it back out to you.
Okay, great.
And I'll highlight those so you'll know that those are the new ones.
Okay, do we have access to the new ordering system?
The what?
The information,
Yeah, the drive.
the drive.
Yeah, we sent that out a while back where you were seeing all the daily maintenance work orders.
I didn't get that.
I didn't get it either, I don't believe, did you?
I haven't seen
Yeah.
Let me check on that again. I
Okay,
thought that
thank
was
you.
sent out by my administration, so.
Wes,
I'll
have
double
you
check
seen it?
with them.
Tim? No? How about Terry? Okay.
Terry sees them every day.
Yeah. And,
Well, I apologize. I thought that was sent out to you.
yeah, no, and Terry.
I was gonna
finds-
ask you if y'all were looking at it. Does that hurt anything?
Terry, a fine job on the room.
Thank you, Mike.
And I can't believe you got it done as fast as you did. Terry painted this whole thing today
it. It is very.
and got the frames back up, so. Okay.
So, on that vein, I apologize. I've got a quote for the chiller
Okay,
for the administration building, and it's $277,922. I can take it out of my capital projects and get that ordered now. As of now, it has a lead time of 40 weeks.
40 weeks.
And we're playing with fire, waiting. When it goes out, I don't know. I can't sit here and tell you it's gonna be out 6 weeks, and, I just don't know.
What did you say the quote was?
$277,922.
Okay.
And we've got the money in capital projects, at least to get that part done, and that would knock it off of the HVAC program. But I would like for y'all to entertain passing that on to Budget Committee for their consideration.
Okay. Tim?
Did we ever ask the question to the comfort group that I proposed, I think it was last month or the month before, about possible repairs for what if it does break?
No, they can always try to patch it, but they said this thing's at end of life. I mean, they've worked on it.
So you do
Yeah,
have,
maybe it depends on what goes out.
So you do have maintenance records on that chiller, on that,
I can ask, I'm sure they're in here.
they're in here?
You know, we didn't open this up for discussion.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm at fault too.
I'll make a motion to approve this, to approve moving forward with the chiller. And then we can discuss it,
Okay,
so.
do we have a second? Second, okay.
It's-
I agree with you, Tim. That's a big piece of equipment and it's gotta have replaceable parts. I understand what the comfort group is saying. I'm just wondering if we should get a second opinion on that to see if it's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
Yeah.
My question that I wanted to ask last month was, the worst part about it, whatever the feature is on it, whatever the component is, the worst thing about it that could break, if repaired, would it last a year? Would it last 6 months? Would it make it for that window of however long this supply chain issue is, whether it be 40 weeks, 52 weeks, whatever?
Mhm.
I want that question asked to them, just so I don't like feeling rushed and pressed into purchases.
Yeah.
I like to look at things like, well, yeah, we can repair it and it'll probably last another year. We may have to repair it twice, but they'll last 6 months each. If we can repair and we see the maintenance record shows that we've already done that, till we're blue in the face, I don't put a lot of faith in, end of life statements by manufacturers. Like I said, I just replaced my air conditioner 2 years ago, and it was from 1984.
Mhm.
And the guy said, this should have died 10 years ago. I can't believe it's still running. This should have, not made it past, the early 2000s or whatever. So those are just general statements made by manufacturers. It doesn't mean they're gonna die tomorrow. And they
Right.
could.
Right.
That's why I want that question asked. We may have a,
And the maintenance
Some
file
leeway
will
there.
probably tell us a lot
And it
about that.
might, it might be it's not always the manufacturer, the technician coming out to a residential or commercial building. Depending on what the age of that equipment is, their opinions may differ from one company to another, but they
Yeah.
pretty much should, jive with each other within a year or two, though, on that kind of stuff.
Commissioner Wynn?
Yeah, it's a question for the mayor. Are we gonna bid this out, or is that just?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no, this is just a number to at least work with.
So that
It would be
go
the
out
highest, it would be the highest bid unless something comes in.
to- Okay.
Well, I don't see personally, I don't see a problem with moving it to budget committee while we do our due diligence as general operations.
if they approve.
Because, as he said, it's a 40-week lead time. We're not going to buy that thing tomorrow, because, John, once we've committed, we're committed, I'm assuming. Once we've ordered it, it's a done deal.
I would think so, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, there may be a few months we can backpedal on it, but,
I agree with Tim, though. What if you spend $280,000 and then the thing lasts for another 10 years? So then you're sitting there with a $280,000.
that's why I think we need at least a second opinion. Tim, you're a really mechanical guy. I'd be happy to go down and climb around that thing and look with you. And then if we need to get a manufacturer's rep of that chiller out to really give it a once-over, because the comfort group, they're an installer, they're not a manufacturer. The chiller is made by a manufacturer.
That's, so yeah, I'm mechanically inclined, but chillers are not my expertise. I wanna know what the main component of one that will fail, and if we fixed that main component that they've said could fail 6 times in the last 4 years, then I would agree with the mayor. But if we have not identified that yet, I don't like going by manufacturer suggested lifespans. Because that's just throwing money out the window. That's over $250,000.
John, it's 35 years old.
35 years.
This unit's gone out every summer.
Oh.
And some summers we've gotten it fixed quicker, some summers it hasn't been so quick. But it's gone out every year since I've been here. It's
Okay.
over 20 years.
Sounds like
So-
it's, I hate to say it, but it
But,
sounds like
I
it's
mean,
getting at
we-
the end
we
of its
keep
life.
on- We can keep on nickel and
No,
diming and, you know, try to push it out another year.
No, I don't wanna
So
do that.
that's
Sounds like it's on
fine.
its
So-
last leg.
35 years old, I mean, that's, to me,
Yeah.
that's on its last.
One question for clarity, so was the manufacturer says it end of life, or was it the service?
No, it's a service. They're saying, you know, just can't fix it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, so
Running
our,
out of opportunities to fix it.
our service company is saying that it's at end of life, and
Right.
it's not like there was just a manufacturer number that this is
No.
35 years, and, okay.
Well, in light of that, then, yeah, I did not hear that it's gone out every summer for the last several years. So I have no problem with making a motion that we send it up to budget and let them, decide.
And in the meantime, I'll get the manufacturer and see if I can get them out here, just as a second check. And John and I can visit with them and go through it.
I'd say 35 years, you did pretty good.
Yeah.
So
It's-
the reason, the budget committee can look at this and say, if this is something that we could put a Band-Aid on until we're a little bit less out of debt and make this purchase next year, maybe we fix it one more time or whatever, but that's a budget decision. So that's why I'm making the motion that we do send it up to budget.
Okay,
There's a motion on the floor just
Yeah.
to approve it.
okay. Wait, what motion is on the floor right now?
I'm saying motion to send it to budget.
Wes has a
I
motion
already
on
have a
the
motion,
floor.
and a second on the floor, and it was just,
My bad.
yeah, approve.
Restate your
Yeah,
motion.
no, it was to approve this to move forward, so, which I think is what
Which
you're
is-
wanting to do.
yes.
Yeah, and we have a
Yes.
second, Terry.
There you go.
All in favor? Say
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No, okay. All right, item C, I was hoping to have some quotations for new siding of the parapet wall. I don't have that yet, so I would like to move this item to next month when I can get,
I'll make a motion to move it.
The archives?
yeah. Yeah, it's not leaking, but there is leaks that have developed in the parapet wall, so I have a motion, do I have a second? Second, all in favor?
Can we discuss this?
Oh, sure.
Could you just explain a little bit more about
Okay.
that?
Okay, maintenance was up there with the roofer 2 months ago, Terry, I think. And they had a few small patches to take care of. They did. It hasn't leaked since. But we know there are a couple other problems up there. There is a vertical parapet wall and then the mansard roof that goes to the outside. That has very distorted and damaged vinyl siding on it. And so I want to get a price, a reference price on new siding of different sorts. The other thing that we can do is we can put an EPDM, which is the same as the roof material, on that vertical siding. It'll hold, it'll keep everything waterproof. It would be, I won't know till the numbers come in, cost-wise, if it makes more sense or not. There would be some repairs to the sheet metal top, and at the same time, we will want to discuss removing the handrail, which is in pretty bad shape and may not be worth repairing. And that will probably be an issue that will ultimately go to the commission. There are various opinions on that, but of what I'm hearing, most would say, let's get rid of the handrail.
The fake rail around the roof.
Yeah, the
up
fake
here.
rail around the roof.
It's really just decorative.
It's
Yeah.
totally decorative, and it's in really rough shape. You know, I would invite any of you to go up there and take a look at it. Terry and I have seen it several times. So, anyway, that's the long and short of what's going on up there. But, you know, the truth is that we had a recommendation, a report that said we should spend about $450,000 replacing everything up there, except the siding on the vertical walls. And from what Terry and I could tell, that was the biggest problem. And so, I think doing this due diligence at this point, especially since it's not leaking at the moment, makes a lot of sense. And we can save the county a lot of money if we do that.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
So, I agree with what you're saying. That roof still has 5 to 6 years left of warranty on it. That's not counting life.
Right.
So, to fix that area, I'd gotten an estimate to fix that area about $48,000.
Which area is
To
that?
fix the siding, what you talked about,
Okay.
from the gentleman that you talked to.
Oh, okay.
Now, that doesn't
And that's with the
count.
EPDM, he was,
Right.
yeah, okay.
And that doesn't count removing the railings, which I agree with. I think they're leak points and being decorative, and I think we'll spend a lot of money trying to renovate them. If y'all looked at them, you don't have to climb on the roof to see those rails. They're pretty ugly.
Pretty ugly.
So if we remove those, that would be more. That's gonna put us over the $50,000 mark. So, I think, in my opinion, I don't think it's gonna be anywhere near $450,000.
Right.
But it will be over 50,000. What I'd like to see us do is start this process to get that fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you start it, it's gonna take a couple months, and we're getting into the rainy season, the wind season, and that's where those leaks are gonna come in when they start hitting that siding.
Mm-hmm.
If we can start that process, then I can get the engineer out here to draw it up like they're supposed to, bring that back to you with the options, knowing that our goal is to keep this roof and have a maintenance program on it to make sure it stays in good shape, goes well past the 5 years, 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then get all that siding fixed that we all agree needs to be fixed, and get the railings off, which we all agree needs to come off.
Okay.
But at some point, I'd like to start that process. And what I'd like to see is that money was appropriated in the last budget, but I'd like to see us roll it over to this budget, which would be a budget committee decision.
Okay.
And we can at least start it, and that gives us something to discuss.
Okay, I thought it was still in the budget, so.
No, sir, it'd have to be rolled over by the budget committee.
Okay. Jones?
Mr. Mayor, the warranty that you spoke of that's still out there, does that give us any type of credit towards fix or?
No, what it would do is, it would void the warranty if we just put it out for bid and accept any bid. But if we scope it to require them to be a Firestone dealer, then we can keep the warranty on it going, and then we'll have the same product that's going on there.
So it's warranty in product, not
Right.
in the workmanship of it.
Right.
Gotcha.
Mr. Williams?
Is there a motion on the floor?
Yes,
What is the motion?
I don't know, what is the motion?
we're gonna move it to next month.
Oh, you have to move it to next month.
Yeah, we seconded it so we can discuss it. Motion. Can we amend the motion? Oh, I'd like to amend the motion.
Okay.
Just to move forward, we're starting the architectural process to get this moving, to give us information for next month, so we'll know what we want to do, how we want to move forward.
Is that something we can do with you just bidding it
Well,
out?
you'd need to close out this motion. You need to either vote it up or down to move it to next month. If you vote no, then we're back to the drawing board. And then you can say, I make a motion that we move it on to budget, because I'll have to ask budget for the money. Because I can't do anything until I have that money rolled over and approved.
Okay, let me make a point, though. The problem's not the roof, the problem is the parapet wall.
Well, I'm speaking of it in its totality.
Right,
But
right.
yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, and that actual roof part, yes, I don't think that needs to be replaced.
Yeah, it's in good shape now, Terry, yeah. So the motion.
I'm sorry, I have a question. 'Cause
Yeah.
now I'm confused. So the 47 to 48,000 fix is just the siding?
Well, but it's an EP, it's the same material that's on the roof, it's not the only way we can go. We could put siding back up, and that's what I wanted to get a price on, is actual siding. And we can.
Because I wrote 4748K for the siding fix, so you're talking about the material that's going on the roof would go on the side?
Would go up to the siding, because that's what we had talked about.
Yeah.
That would be a better fix, because it'd get it seamless up to that ridge cap at the top there.
Yeah, it might be a better fix. I wanted to look at the siding because it may be just as good a fix and maybe less money, maybe more money. I just don't know till I get a guy up there to give us a price. And that's,
So you think we need a separate quote to see if the siding can be fixed instead of just going forward to budget?
right.
So-
That's what I think, but, I think we've got time to do it, but.
So if we move it to next month, we'll be okay.
If we move-
Nothing earth shattering.
I
It's gonna-
To get the quote,
Yeah, to get the.
and then it can go to budget.
So it's gonna be after the rainy season before we start working on
Is there a rainy season?
There is.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
we're-
April,
we're-
May.
We're fixing to start it, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So is there anything we can do to start both processes now, like the mayor's asking for?
You gotta
to
figure out
get
which
the quote?
direction you're gonna go. If you're gonna go with.
No, get both quotes.
Yeah,
In the
and
same
that,
process.
that's what I wanted to do, was get the other quote. I just didn't get it for this meeting, or we would have been able to clearly make a decision, at this meeting, and so that's why I wanted to move it.
How long do you think it'll take you to get the quote?
I think we can have it in maybe a week,
Is it possible to do
special
a
meeting.
special meeting next Monday, since most of us are gonna be here for budget or legislative, to where we could do a quick decision on this to proceed?
If I can get a quote, and I will really try to get a quote, we could do that. So,
So can we amend that motion
to
to that?
rather than postpone it a month, postpone it a
Yeah.
I have a
week.
question.
Uh-huh.
We can postpone it a month, and then if you get the quote, then call a special called meeting.
Okay, fair enough.
So keep the motion the same.
Maybe
Keep
it's
this-
tough to get a quote right now.
Yeah, because you don't know how long it's gonna take, and then you call it, you
Yeah.
amend it to call the meeting Monday, and then you don't have the quote, and
I
then.
I would really like us to try to get
Yeah.
that done.
Yeah.
Like, because I agree, there is a rainy season here. There is. Fall and spring is just torrential.
What is it right now? Even waiting a month, I mean, in light of what has just been going on the last few days, I mean, every contractor.
Yeah, every
roofing
contractor's
company
backed up,
is
probably
gonna be
couldn't get
backed
to
up
anyway.
anyway. So I mean, your motion, Chrissy's motion to wait a month, put it to next month. I mean,
Yeah,
And if you can get the quote, then we can do it.
yeah, I know the EPDM is expensive material, and so that's why I wanted to look at it both ways. So the motion is still on the table, we do have a second. Is there any other discussion on it? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No, no, 2 noes.
Wayne Moss.
Yes. Okay. And now discuss moving the maintenance crew into the TRC or another building in the country, in the county.
You get the U-Haul.
Could we have a motion on the floor to open discussion?
So move.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? In all the discussion about the TRC, the only non-controversial issue is that the maintenance guys are gonna move there. I personally think we ought to just bite the bullet and do it. Commissioner Wynn,
How much square footage does the maintenance folks need?
how much what?
Square footage, what footprint do they need?
Well, if we move forward on this, we are going to generate a floor plan that will be efficient. Right now, we're thinking 5,000 to 6,000 out of that 18,000 square foot building. Not a ton of space, but they need to be out of the basement. We've been warned.
So I'll make a motion to approve the move over there and give them up to 8,000 square feet of that building.
Okay.
I'll second.
Second
Can
motion?
we discuss?
Absolutely.
The building that we tabled, that 4.5 million when we first came into the commission,
Mhm.
what square footage was that one?
That was going to be 18,000 ground and another 1,800 mezzanine for the maintenance guys. So it's gonna be almost 20,000 square feet.
Did they, is there any way possible they needed anything close to that?
I think they.
We're down to a third the size?
There's the chief of that department, he says no, they did not need it.
That was also the vehicle maintenance. It's not
Yeah.
just the-
They were basically gonna split the building half-half. And
Okay.
that's why we stopped it, because it, you know, none of us here at this table had anything to do with that decision. And it didn't make a lot of sense. We still need covered parking that has got heating over there to take care of the medicine in the ambulances that we need to park inside. So we will need some of that money.
Yeah, I was going to the heart of what Commissioner Wynn was also saying, that I want to make sure that they have enough. I don't know that we need to put limits on them yet, but I want to make sure that they have enough, but we need to get it rolling and get them.
What I'd like to do is get it rolling. I told the guys today that we would come up with a floor plan that made sense and then bring it back.
I think as long as we look at what Commissioner Wynn said and go with up to a certain amount, we'll be okay, because it could be 6, could be 7, could be 8. I'm okay with up to.
Is 8 enough?
Up
That's
to.
what I'm saying.
It may be less.
No, but if they need 9.
No, I don't
You
think
see what I'm
they'll
saying?
need
I don't
that.
know where they were
Yeah.
gonna do 20,000 square feet.
Yeah. Well, and that's why.
I know it had the other
Right.
part too, but.
These guys are not the kind of guys that need to be swimming in space.
Okay.
And like I said, we would come up with a floor plan and bring it back to this committee, and then we could do a finalized, I'm hoping for a budget and a floor plan that we can send on to the budget committee so that they don't have any work to do. That's what I would like to see done.
Okay, I mean, I'm okay with this motion.
Okay. So, do we have a motion?
Yeah.
We do have a motion and a
And
second.
we're saying 8,000.
At
Miss-
8,000.
I'm sorry, just procedural. Are you putting together a floor plan in the budget to move on to budget committee?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'll do it with,
Good.
yeah, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, passes unanimously. Okay, so now that we know that we're gonna put in the maintenance committee, we'll go back to the election commission. Do we need to open for discussion again,
I
or?
got a motion, I want to make a motion.
Okay, make a motion.
I want to make a motion to approve the election commission to move over to the TRC building with the remaining space that's not used by maintenance.
Okay, we have a motion, do we have a second? Okay, that fails for lack of a second. Mr. Hyde?
Mr. Chairman, I'm really sort of, I get weary of talking and want to take action, and so forgive me for what I'm saying, but I'm not even a member of this committee. But I want to make an observation here. One is, we can either say yes, no, or maybe. And maybe is not acceptable, because they need to know something, one way or the other. And we need to do it tonight. We have put it off several months. We need to go ahead and bite the bullet and do something in regard to this issue. Now, this is what I'm thinking about. As I have observed a lot of space and buildings in this county, we have tremendous amount of needs, not just the election commission and not just maintenance, but we have other needs. And as fast as this county is growing, we will still have even more. So we cannot be overly generous with our space. We have to use it very cautiously, or we'll end up building another building like the monster-sized building on the public square. This is my suggestion, and you can apart, shoot it down, or whatever you want to, but I think a motion ought to be made to put this to bed tonight and say that the election commission will stay where they are. That I think there is adequate space in the basement for the machines, perhaps not all of the other totes and things that they have that we could find space for, but they could be down there in a secure area. We need to look at some other things. I have some ideas and some thoughts on space. This building, the TRC building, is absolutely enormous. It is enormous. If you have not been over there, you need to, because some of us have. You could put the second floor of this courthouse in that building over there. We need to vote to do that and then start planning so they can operate for an election. You do not want to be sitting here and being accused of impeding an election process. Later, we can look at space, all of this space, and make a suggestion on some additional or even moving the election commission. But I don't see it being at the TRC building. It shouldn't be at the TRC building. But there will be some other space available that is much larger that could adequately serve the election commission. And if we don't move on this tonight and put it to bed, then the only thing I know is I'm going to say, I told you so.
I'll make the motion to keep them where they're at.
I'll second.
Any discussion on that? Commissioner Wynn?
I just, from what I'm hearing, I just don't think that the storage space is here. You know, we've talked about an extra 500, somewhere around 500 for the maintenance area, and we've all been in that. Essentially, it's a mechanical closet. It's just not a fit place to store anything, much like work. You know, we're gonna have to pour money into that space if we're even gonna try to make it secure, number one. And then by doing that, it's less square footage than even 500. I don't know, it's more like a generous broom closet at that point. You know, just because the mechanicals that are down there, they're gonna have to have access to it. You know, to maintenance stuff. So we're down to, stated it was 2,700 square feet of storage needed for the new machines. We said they got 1,000 square feet downstairs, so by rough math, they're about 700 square feet, 1,700 square feet short on storage.
I'm gonna push back on you on something that I don't understand, and it comes down to this drawing. If they're, and it's why I asked how many machines at the same time do they work on? Because if we use the basement, and they're packed like sardines, and they pull 4 or 8 or whatever they're working on, and they have room to set those up on a table, then move those into another room. This is ideal and optimum for them. It's not absolutely essential from my standpoint. So because they're in a big rush, they got to get ready for election. What they're suggesting here, we can't get done in time for them because we have to build a room within the room, and that's going to take time to design, it's going to take time to bid, and it's going to take time to construct. We're 3, 4, 5 months down the road for all I know, whereas they can do it here right now. It's not optimum for them, but they can do it here right now. And so I agree with Mr. Hyde. I think we need to make the decision tonight and go with it. Ms. Abson would like to speak.
I just wanted to mention, we can get the machines down there, but we will not be able to stage the election. So, in other words, when they come the day before the election to pick up the machines and they have totes and precinct cases and signage and all that, we will not have the room to stage the election down there. So you're talking about programming machines, that's just one element.
Right.
But when they go out, the precinct's all together, the officer comes in, they pick everything up, they load them into their vehicles or vans, and they go to their precinct and set up. We do not have room to do that. We will not, even with 500 square feet.
With that hallway with the double doors that go out to the side, we can't do that?
No, sir, I mean, there just won't be enough room to stay. Each precinct, we've got 29 right now, is sitting there, ready to be picked up. When it comes back in, it's all, you know, it's all together. And there's signage, and there's, again, 2 big bumblebee totes. There's the precinct case, and then the machines. So you take a larger precinct like Indian Lake is our biggest participation precinct. We've got 10 or 12 machines. You know, all that has to be together when the officer comes. We can't run into one room and get a machine, run into another room and get the tote. It's all sitting there, you know, together, so that when it's picked up, it goes out. So there's not enough room to stage the election down there. And
Have
that's
they
not,
not been doing that for how many years?
Yeah, how have you done it in the past?
well, the machines are a lot bigger now.
So they're like triple the size of the ones now?
Yes, basically. The other ones are about this high and this wide,
Yeah.
and these are this high and this wide and this thick.
Yeah, they're 1 foot by 2 foot by
Mhm.
3 feet tall.
Right. So we can get them in there if that's what y'all want us to do, but we cannot stage an election out there. So if you guys want to, if it takes 4 or 5 months to build a room, that's fine, because, you know, our next election is March of 2024.
We have time.
So we've got time to build that room, and we can go ahead now, what Mayor Isbell and I had discussed, and what former Mayor Anthony Holt and I had discussed, was that would also free up our space, because I guess there are more demands in the building, that are, you know, for space for other departments, that would free all of that up. You actually can cut it into 2 completely separate departments, because there is a wall on that far one. Merrill and you yourself came by and saw that.
Yeah.
So that was gonna free up that space for someone else, and then also then the full basement would be free. And then initially, we were gonna move all of our stuff from archives up to the TRC, so that would free up all of that space. So we would be completely, all of that space would be free, for that.
Okay, thank you.
So, the only thing it sounds like the room for staging an election. Can you explain the process of staging an election?
Sure, so, once the ballot is finalized, we send it up to the vendor, they send the ballot back, we program the machines, we load that ballot, okay? So that goes on machines, the machines are ready to go. The election commissioners, we run 0 tapes, so there's no votes on them. We put votes on them to make sure that you can see every candidate can get a vote.
I think, it's going down the road that I wasn't, like, staging the election starts the morning of, you're gonna tell all your employees, we're staging today. It's about loading up the machines and programming the machines.
No, the machines are done. So the day before the election is when everybody picks up, so they have to pick up all of it, what I just described.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Staging the election consists of taking a machine, taking a tote, taking the things that go with it and doing what with
You
it.
put it all together,
Yeah.
so that when the officer comes by and they say, hey, I'm here with Indian Lake,
Yep,
we have loaders down there, they load that into their vehicles and away they go with everything they need to run that precinct for that day. So we have 29 separate big piles, is basically what I'm saying.
so staging is getting groups of the polling centers,
All
Set
together
out.
and ready to go.
and that's for the day of or the day
The day
before the
before,
election.
they pick up,
And
some
then
set
the
up.
day that they bring them back also.
Correct, and we have to all be together on election night, because if we have any problems with a tape or anything that was run with the machine, we've got our technicians here, the microvote people here. If, you know, we need to double check something, our counting board is here,
Gotcha.
so for our provisionals, all of that has to be together.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So the main issue we've been told now is staging for the election. One day before, the day after it's done, the day it's done. So for 2 days, we need extra space.
And that's a year away.
So
We got time.
Yep.
We got time, but they need it by that time. We gotta figure out something by that time.
Right.
I just wanted to clarify that and make sure I understood what staging meant, so.
Yeah. Okay. Good question.
I'm okay with the motion that's on the table, the second as is, to vote on that. Is there any other discussion?
Any other discussion? Okay. Commissioner Wynn.
In that time period while we're waiting, are we the expectation to have, are we gonna work with the election commission to try to figure that out?
Yes, we're going, as general ops, and I would invite anybody who wants to go. We're trying to assess buildings, and like I say, we've been doing catch as catch can. If we want to do it on a Saturday and do a tour, then we just need to get the keys from the mayor and go look and discuss. I don't think this violates any sunshine law, does it?
You talking about for
If we're
different,
just
seeing
To
different
review
buildings?
properties, I don't think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Commissioner Jones?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
Also-
Any other questions? All right, the motion is to keep it here. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We have one more item on the agenda.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None?
I think it's-
Sorry to the, Toby, sorry. Sorry we ran over.
Hey, Dave.
Are there any other buildings on the lookout that we're looking at other than just the TNT?